I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong.
You cannot testify that Johnny Depp was not abused, can you?
I can testify that he had physical acts of violence perpetrated on him as well as psychological aggressive acts perpetrated upon him.
Intimate partner violence is defined as physical violence, sexual violence, stalking, and psychological aggression by a current or former intimate partner, and is preventable.
Intimate partner violence threatens the well-being of millions of people and their families every single day. Intimate partners may include current or former spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, dating partners, or sexual partners.
Intimate partner violence can occur between heterosexual or same-sex couples. Some victims may suffer just one experience, while others endure violence that lasts for years.
1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men have experienced intimate partner violence in their lifetime. And 1 in 10 high school students have experienced physical teen dating violence, which is a form of intimate partner violence.
Intimate partner violence consequences are widespread.
It impacts physical and mental health. It results in billions of dollars in medical, mental health, and lost work productivity costs.
Do you believe you're an abuser? Do you believe you abused me physically?
Do I physically believe, do I believe I physically abused you?
Yes.
Do you know I'm 115, well not anymore, but I was 115 pounds. I'm a 115-pound woman and you're going to say I have the capacity to abuse.
That's not the question. That's not the question.
Have I ever been able to knock you off of your feet? removed because I'm being called a liar and a gold digger.
The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
You seem normal?
The definition of normal,
Does that seem normal?
you,
Does that seem normal to you?
borderline personality disorder,
I'm borderline personality disorder now.
without question.
And what's really messed up is that I have a clean criminal record and my husband doesn't. And it's really messed up. And every human being is different. Every person with borderline personality disorder is different. I am someone that has borderline personality disorder, that has been really in the crux of it, and that has now been very I'm in recovery, and I'm a totally different person, and I know what it's like to do the things that Amber's being accused of doing, whether she has borderline personality disorder or not.
This is the entirety of the medical record, right, Ms. Heard?
Yes, what I meant by partial is I didn't talk about what happened to me. I didn't get into my injuries. I didn't get into what happened.
They didn't see your broken face?
Ask for anything other than should I get some sort of scan done.
But this record doesn't document any physical injuries on you, does it?
I'd have to read it in full, but I don't know.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
I know what it's like. I know what it's like to make the decisions that she has made, like very specifically, like a lot of the decisions, if these decisions are accurate. Again, this is a court case. When they're really in it, we can get mad. You don't need space. Stay with me. Like, you're not even the one that's struggling right now. Like, you have no idea. And that's the thought process, right? That's not actually my logical perspective.
So, but no, any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
Right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
What would you like to be called for the sake of this interview?
I would like to remain anonymous, if you don't mind. My exes don't know where I am, as my second ex abused all 4 of my children sexually. He went to jail for everything, but he vowed to kill me if and when he finds me. I would like to be called Mama T.
Have you ever been a victim of domestic violence?
Yes, 3 times. The first started when I was a child.
Are you a lifelong fan of Johnny Depp?
No.
What about Amber Heard?
No.
Do you feel the need to support one person over the other?
No, I just want to tell you that from what I observed and heard from the trial testimonies and audio recording, Johnny Depp was and is a true survivor of IPV.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present Mama T to you as our IPV expert. What drew you to this case?
What drew me to the case was Johnny himself. I could see the comparisons in myself trying to clear my name. My family turned against me as my abusers made me to be mad, a liar. I fought hard to become the woman I am today. My second ex-partner was a prolific abuser, which I sadly didn't find out till 3 years into our relationship. He made me believe that no one would believe a word I said. From what I saw of the trial, Johnny's friends came around less and less. Why? Because Amber made sure they were uncomfortable around her, made sure it was always her crowd, her friends, her sister around. She even separated him from his children. Perfect abuser. Keeping the abused from the people they can confide in, people who know the person that is being abused, people that can pick up on certain ways you act, the way you look. I went from being a fun lady to being the recluse I am now. Amber was feeding his habits. I strongly do believe she was drugging him much more than what he should have been taking. There is audio recording of her asking him to take something and not telling him what it was. Then feeding his paranoia by telling him that he had done things he hadn't. I could go for days about my life, and you would see why this case interested me so much, because it was like mine playing out. It really was.
Isn't that psychological abuse?
It is psychological abuse. She would tell him that he vomits in his sleep often when he didn't.
Correct? It was a dinner function, I believe, in promotion of the movie. Wasn't the premiere, if I recall.
You don't have any visible injuries to your face, do you?
None that you can see.
That's what visible means.
Let's look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 1249.
The thing about the face, though, is it like bleeds and swells and bruises, and I'm fair. She's fair. My face gets red if I get too angry.
Isn't it right?
That's correct.
This is also a picture from when you were in Russia for the Lone Ranger premiere, right?
Yep. That is correct.
And you have no visible injuries to your face, do you?
None that you can see.
None that you can see.
Even though Mr. Depp whacked you in the face so hard that your nose bled?
She's not going to back away from that. None that you can see.
While wearing chunky big rings, right?
That's correct.
That gives her a lot to argue on closing. There's a lot of photos, but no injuries you can see.
I have been with my boyfriend, now husband, for almost 17 years. When my borderline started to develop, I was violent. I was addicted to substances. I was drinking alcohol every day. I had severe attachment issues. I was mean. I was judgmental. And I think, and my boyfriend at the time, husband now, engaged in those substances with me, drank all the time with me. And I would be outwardly violent. And my now husband is so kind and so sweet and so gentle and so loving. And we would get into it with each other. I would hurt him.
I was staring at the blue lights and my chest was on this, my back was on the countertops, and I thought he was punching me. I felt this pressure on my pubic bone. He thought he was punching me. I just saw his arm. I could feel his arm moving, and it looked like he was punching me. But I could just feel this pressure. It was like we kept hitting him. It didn't feel pain. It was just a pressure on my pubic bone, and broken glass. And I remember that it's just not wanting to move because I didn't know if it was broken. I didn't know if the bottle that he had inside me was broken. I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel it. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything. I didn't want it. I looked around and I saw so much broken glass that I didn't know if he would know. If he would know, I didn't know if he would know if it was broken or not. And I just remember thinking, please God, please, I hope it's not broken. I don't know how that ended. I have a memory of him begging me not to leave.
The majority of the blood, Debbie, is downstairs, but I went through that really carefully. Oh wait, there's a. So I'll try to clean something out. I told Danny it was probably Lisa this.
I remember taking a bunch of sleeping pills. Not a bunch, like 2, which is a lot for me. I remember falling asleep, or I don't remember falling asleep, but I know I fell asleep because I woke up the next day. I assume it was late morning.
Based on her testimony, I do not believe that it happened. I endured the bottle rape that Amber claimed happened to her. Believe me, I ended up in a hospital for a week, and could not walk as I was that wounded down below. How was she able to sleep after that? And was able to walk around the next day.
And at times, we would get into it. And he's not a violent person. And when somebody's being really violent towards you, sometimes you get violent back. And my husband has been in court cases that I have placed him in because I was not honest about what happened in those situations. And I have had to go on the stand before, and I have had to tell the court that I was lying about what happened. So that's why this case is really important to me, because I know what it's like to be in this position and to do things that you would never do once you're healed.
Whacked you in the face so hard you thought he had broken your nose.
But not wearing a ton of rings at
He
this
did
time.
whack me in the face, and I did think it broke my nose.
And this is you the night after.
Yes, it is.
Huh.
A really good relationship with whoever the provider is that you're working with, and hopefully a great relationship and support system. I'm still with my husband, and we're going to get to boundaries because my husband should have had much better boundaries with me. And that's really important too, I think. And we were young and I was a lot, and that was really difficult for him. And I think it's important. Okay. I'm here to do. I'm here to say, I know what it's like to be somebody with borderline personality disorder that has been physically violent, that has caused other people to be physically violent onto me. As a result of my physical violence, to defend themselves, I have lied to the court. I have been unfaithful. I have done all of the things.
So intimate partner violence is a pattern of manipulation, fear, and coercive control that happens within an intimate relationship. It constitutes using a variety of abusive behaviors, and that can be physical violence, sexual violence, psychological aggression, emotional abuse, stalking or surveillance behaviors, and economic abuse. The abusive behaviors occur over time, not all at once, and they're also interspersed with very normal times, times without violence, times with love and happiness. And it's this interpositioning of the violence with the love and the abuse, with the love and the care, that makes it very difficult for a victim to extricate herself from that situation and from that relationship.
And what would you say is the overarching dynamic of these relationships?
So the overarching dynamic is the abuse of power and control of one person wanting to have dominance in that relationship, say over most things that the couple or that the victim does or does not do.
Please tell the jury what coercive control means.
So coercive control is a tactic of victimization. The goal of it is to establish dominance. What coercive control does is that it imposes negative consequences for noncompliance with your partner's expectations or demands.
Will she have advantage if she leaves him but files with police for abuse first? Was that a question that she asked you?
Yes, this was her talking out loud, trying to strategize for herself.
Yeah, just because we got another call and we came again, we still got to make sure. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Back up. Please, back up. Can we just We'll just come in and just check. We just need to make sure everybody in here is okay, and then we. I have called twice.
So she did?
Yeah. I don't know if she called twice or whoever called, but we just got another notification. So
It must have been a mistake.
we just need to come in and make sure that everybody's okay.
Yeah,
That they're all good. Nobody else is in here.
No.
Okay.
The other officers came by and checked the apartment and the other apartment as well.
Yeah. Okay.
It must have been like a double call.
Okay. Who's Amber? Okay. And Johnny
is definitely not here.
is not here. Okay.
Left probably like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Everything's all good then.
Now it's good.
All right.
Thank you.
So if you guys need anything else, just call us back.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have a good night.
Thank you, officers.
Yep, thank you. Good night.
Everyone, I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Pat Harvey. Actor Johnny Depp was slapped with a restraining order today after his estranged wife, Amber Heard, shows up in court with bruises on her face. CBS 2's Christy Fajardo has more on the divorce fight that has turned nasty.
Hey, Amber.
Flanked by security, Amber Heard doesn't try to hide the bruise on her cheek. Neither does her lawyer.
You guys, she showed a lot of courage today.
You okay, Amber?
A judge granted the actress a temporary restraining order against megastar husband Johnny Depp. As evidence, her lawyer showed these photos. Heard says this injury was a result of Depp throwing a cell phone at her and pulling her hair during a drug and alcohol-fueled rage. In a sworn declaration, she stated he had attacked her before, saying, quote, "I am petrified he will return at any moment."
We're at a historic tipping point for women. In October 2017, the hashtag #MeToo spread across the globe. What began as a Hollywood sexual assault scandal sparked a public reckoning around the world.
Thousands of women are using 2 words on social media to identify themselves as survivors of sexual harassment and assault.
A watershed moment in our
New laws have been passed, and powerful men have been forced to step down,
Sorry for the damage that Oxfam has done.
face arrest, and conviction. But now
The ACLU stands for the American Civil Liberties Union and is the nation's largest public interest law firm, which means the ACLU works to legally defend every person's individual rights and liberties that are guaranteed in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. The ACLU is not affiliated with or funded by any political party. It's a nonprofit organization that survives through volunteers and grants from foundations, donations, and annual fees.
I went and got my booster on Friday. And I sat down, and as I sat down, I reached into this coat pocket here and pulled out my phone and flipped it open to look at it. And I went, oh, why did I really need to do that? I have 15 minutes here, because you have to wait 15 minutes before you leave.
Right.
15 minutes here, I could just spend 15 minutes just people watching. And so I did, and I people watched, and every single person was on their phone.
The thing that Laura didn't agree to was she did not want to agree to a mutual gag order. And that's the problem, like she doesn't want the gag order. Why, Johnny? Why? Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she want both parties to not talk about this in the press? By the way, just talking about the press.
not going to be in a physical fucking altercation
Don't.
with you.
Then don't.
I don't want to, because I don't want to fucking fight.
That we
After
had
you
last
fucking
night.
got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, "Come up here," because
know.
I didn't want
Come and
anything to
save me.
happen.
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did. So I had to get the
Because-
fuck out of there.
Yes.
I'm the one who came to you and said, "Let's calm down. Please calm down. If things get physical, we have to separate. Yeah. There can be no physical violence." When you start the fucking yelling, there's, you know, it fucking gets crazy. You know, it gets fucking crazy, you know, and that makes me not feel for lack of a better word, safe within the relationship.
I'm sorry that I didn't
You,
hit
punched
you
me.
across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I fucking sometimes get so mad.
So when somebody tries to set boundaries with us, with me, like it's a lot different now, but it's like, that would be the worst thing ever. And like, you're ruining my life and you're making me feel terrible. Do you know how that makes me feel? And I heard a lot of that on the recordings. Do you know how that makes me feel when you leave me? And very little acknowledgement of, well, you're treating me like this. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, just take it? And that was
the results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
Are you aware?
I'm Dr. Ben Michaelis, and this is 1 Minute Diagnosis. Today I will be talking about histrionic personality disorder. People with histrionic personality disorder are excessively emotional and seek constant attention, as indicated by at least 5 of the following 7 behaviors. They are uncomfortable when they are not the center of attention. They behave in inappropriately sexually seductive or provocative ways. They have shallow emotions that can suddenly shift without warning. They use their physical appearance, clothing, or makeup to draw attention to themselves. They speak in ways that suggest that they don't really understand what they're talking about. They are highly suggestible and easily influenced by other people, and they see their relationships as more intimate than they actually are.
Hello, Mrs. Haywell. How are you doing today?
Oh, please, just call me Martha. You know what? I feel like I've known you for so long, like all my life. You know, we're well past the formalities.
From one visit.
Of course. I mean, we've grown so close.
That's a very nice outfit. Are you going out somewhere special tonight?
Oh, this? Oh, God. No, this whole thing, I just threw it on. You know, it's what you call a quick grab out the closet, you know? But do you like it? Don't I just look beautiful?
Yes, you look...
Doesn't he look handsome too? This is
for me. I know. I always knew that it was like fine for him to take his space. Of course. Because I want space. I'm a human. I get it. And it was the worst thing that he could ever do.
This is a picture of you at the same event, the night after Mr. Depp allegedly whacked you in the face so hard you thought he broke your nose.
This is a picture of me.
She's going to keep fighting with her.
After he did whack me in the face.
The night after, right?
Yes, it is. I believe it was the night after, yes.
She's trying to couch away from it.
Your nose
I believe
doesn't
it was
appear
the
to be
night
injured
after.
in any of these pictures, does it, Miss Heard?
I'm wearing makeup.
Wow.
Your nose doesn't appear to be injured in any of these pictures, does
Makeup.
it, Miss Heard?
That's why I'm wearing makeup.
And makeup covers up swelling, right?
Makeup will not cover up swelling. Ice will, though.
Ice will
Ice will cover up swelling?
Ice reduces swelling. Normally, the swelling after that kind of injury is not as bad as you might imagine. And for me,
What?
It wasn't that bad. I have a picture of it underneath the makeup. That's how I know how to reference it.
Let's see.
A picture you haven't produced or shown to
did.
this jury, right, Miss Heard?
I produced everything.
But you haven't shown it to this jury.
I would very much like to. It's not my job.
It's not my job. Ma'am.
My husband was like, that's it. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with you and how you're acting and the substances that you're using and your infidelity, and like, you need to get your shit together. And I've been on a journey ever since for the last 10 years doing that. But a lot of boundaries were set. And it was So we need to know that we need to know that people exist that have borderline personality disorder, that can change, that can get better, and that there is no excuse for any behavior at all. Whether or not she has it, she deserves to get better. Any of you out there where you don't know why your brain acts the way it does, why your mind thinks the way it does, why your body has the reactions that it has, like, you deserve to know. And that's going to be the beginning of your healing journey. And it may not even be fully understanding or knowing what's going on with you, but it's knowing that you want to get to know it and finding your first avenue to do that. And that's part of the journey of healing. And that's what I hope happens for Amber, whether or not she actually has borderline personality disorder or she doesn't.